Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today we're looking at Holo Taco's Fire and Ice bundle. So this bundle came out about a week ago, I think exactly, and it consists of 2 new creams and 3 shimmer toppers. As always, I will share my thoughts at the end after comparisons, but before we get into it, I need to give a big thank you to my bestie, Addie from Sunbeam Nails, because she actually helped me with this video to provide some comparisons for the shimmer toppers because I actually don't have that many myself, so she was a huge help because otherwise I just, again, wouldn't really have that many comparisons to show you. So if you could just leave an extra comment to thank her, I will have her stuff linked down below. Make sure you go give her a follow. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the swatches. The first new cream we have is Hot Take, and this one is described as a searing hot orange red. So I was a little nervous about this one at first because I normally don't like these orange leaning reds, but I was really impressed with this one. It has an amazing formula, first of all. I wouldn't call it a one coater, at least not on my length. Maybe if your nails were a lot shorter than mine, you could get away with one coat if you're in a rush because it does have really great coverage, but I could still see through to my nail line a tiny bit, so I needed 2 coats to make it fully opaque. But yeah, the color is absolutely stunning. I do think this is leaning very orange on camera, and I would say the same thing goes for a lot of the website photos. It is an orange leaning red for sure, but it just doesn't look as orangey as it does here on camera. So yeah, for what it's worth, I really love this one. And the other cream in the bundle is Cold Slate, which is described as a muted slate blue-gray. So this one is absolutely incredible. It gave me full coverage in just 1 coat. I'm sure you can tell just by the application, it is very creamy and buttery, very easy to apply, and it self-levels really nicely. So I think you could really get away with just 1 coat of this, even if your nails are a little longer like mine. And I think it's beautiful. I just wish it was a little bit more blue. Now moving on to the shimmers, the first one we have is Scorched Earth, which is a red-orange iridescent shimmer topper in a clear base. So I'm actually going to be swatching these over my bare nail just to show you how these build up on their own, but I'm also going to be showing them over the 2 creams in this bundle as well as over black and white, so just be a little patient with me. So yeah, here on 1 coat you can see there is a lot of nice red shimmer, but it kind of has this weird like yellow greenish tint to it that I didn't love, so I don't think I would agree with the part that is described as this having a clear base because there's an obvious kind of color tint that is being added to my nails. These are obviously meant to be worn as toppers, but I was just kind of curious to see how they build up on their own. And yeah, I think I definitely would wear at least a sheer or milky kind of pink base to sort of offset the weird greenish yellow tint that there is. Also, don't mind the wrinkling. I guess I just wasn't waiting long enough in between coats, or I was just applying a little too much pressure. But yeah, overall, I actually really like this one. I love that reddish orange glow that you see head on, and here it is with adjusted lighting, so you can see that golden yellow in more extreme angles. This one is just so fiery and I think would be perfect for fall. The next shimmer we have is Halogen Glow, and this one is described as a yellow, pink to green iridescent shimmer in a clear base. So again, I'm going to be swatching this on its own, and this one I think definitely looked a lot better. Obviously, having stained nails isn't the best base. It's not really going to look the nicest in my opinion, but there was much less of that weird kind of green yellow tint going on to the base. So I feel a little bit more comfortable wearing this shade over either my bare nail or just a lighter color because the base isn't really going to be affected that much. So again, apologies for the wrinkling. I'm sure that's not an issue that many people are going to have. I don't think it was a formulation issue. It's more of a user error on my end. But yeah, I actually ended up really liking this one too, even on my bare nail. I just loved that yellow glow that this one has. I thought this was going to be my least favorite easily because I really loved the other two shimmers, but this one is really holding its own. So yeah, I just love how warm and glowy this one is. So here it is with the adjusted lighting so you can see that more greenish glow to it. I wasn't able to capture the pink in there, but still really pretty. And the last new shimmer we have is Freezer Burn, which is described as a blue indigo iridescent shimmer in a clear base. So this is probably my top favorite from the new shimmers. I just love the strong blue color that you see. I feel like it's almost freaking out my camera a little bit where it looks like it's neon or something. It is just super, super pretty. So yeah, this one, similar to Halogen Glow, didn't have that weird kind of greenish yellow base color going on. So this is another one that I would feel more comfortable wearing on its own or over a lighter shade without worrying about the base color looking affected by it. But again, this is obviously going to pop a lot more over a cream base, especially a darker color. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what you think of these toppers over the different shades that I'm going to show it over. I'm definitely excited to try this over like a navy. I think that would be so beautiful. But yeah, here it is on 3 coats, and that blue is just so stunning. Christine did mention that this one has a slightly weaker duochrome effect compared to the other 2 shades. So here you can see that hint of purple with the more extreme angle of lighting, but it's just not as shifty as the other 2 shimmers. So here are the 3 shimmers over Hot Take. I think Halogen Glow and Scorched Earth are my favorite, but I really love how Freezer Burn makes it look a little bit pink. And here they are over Cold Slate. I think Freezer Burn takes the cake for this one, but again, I just really think the other 2 look really, really pretty. And here they are over Black. You can see the predominant red, yellow, and blue colors in the shimmers head on. But yeah, like I said, Freezer Burn is a little less shifty. And here they are over White. This is definitely very subtle, but still really pretty. And surprisingly, Freezer Burn actually does have this yellowish tint over the white. Now moving on to comparisons, we're starting with Hot Take and looking at it next to Morgan Taylor's Let's Grab a Bite from the recent Splash of Color collection that I just reviewed. So these 2 are definitely similar, but not dupes. And so for another fiery red-orange kind of shade, I have Cirque's Toastool, which is in this adorable mini bottle because it's from the Advent box, which I think is on sale, by the way. But yeah, these definitely are similar, but Toadstool is even more of a true red. It just has like a hint of that warmth. So Let's Grab a Bite, like I mentioned, is a little bit more similar, but it is a little more muted and also slightly more of a pinky coral kind of color, so it's a little less orange and spicy. Since Hot Take is super bright, I thought it might be helpful to show it next to Cirque's Pyro, which is their red-orange neon shade from last year. I think mine has faded a tiny bit, but it's still super, super bright, and they are a lot more different in real life than they look here on camera. And here it is next to Cirque's Game Over, which came out this past year. That's more of their true red neon color, but it has a little bit more of a pink kind of color to it. So yeah, even though Hot Take is super bright, it's not as bright as these 2 neons. Then for Cold Slate, I wanted to see this next to Olive Ave's Storm from last year's spring collection. I just remember this to be a much darker gray, but it's definitely very light and a little bit more neutral than Cold Slate is. And in the complete opposite direction, here it is next to Essie's Carols and Caviar from their holiday collection last year. This one is only similar in terms of that steely blue-gray kind of color, but this one is obviously a lot darker, so it's not an exact dupe or anything like that. It just happens to be the closest in my collection, but I'm pretty sure there's another Essie or Zoya or even OPI shade that's a little bit more similar to Cold Slate. Now for the shimmers, Addie is going to be showing Mooncat's Aura next to Freezer Burn. Aura is another blue kind of shimmery topper, but the blue is more of a lighter blue, almost on the aqua kind of side, while Freezer Burn is that much more intense, electric, true blue color. There's also a slight difference in their bases, where I would say Mooncat's Aura is more of a clear base. And for the other two shimmers, we are going to be looking at Mooncat's Mystic, which is their purpley pink kind of shimmer. So here it is next to Halogen Glow. Obviously, very different colors all around. And here it is next to Scorched Earth. So definitely no dupes here. If anything, we probably would guess that Mystic is closer to Polar Princess. So that wraps up the swatches and comparisons for Holo Taco's new Fire and Ice bundle. So as always, I would love to know your thoughts on this release. Is it speaking to you? Are you bored by it? Because at first I wasn't that excited. I mean, I knew that they needed to release these three shimmers for a while now to complete the rainbow of their shimmer toppers. So I'm glad that they finally did that. And I like the two creams as far as their formulas go. I think the reason I wasn't super excited about the creams at first was just because they felt familiar to me. Like, I'm pretty sure we already had a gray and a red in Holo Taco's catalog with Duct Tape Gray and Left on Red, but these are obviously very different once you do see them side by side. I'm just happy that they do have these options now, especially if you don't like a true classic red, for example, because those tend to be very cool leaning and more on like that blue red side, but this one is much more of a hotter, warmer orange leaning red. And I'm pleasantly surprised with this one. Like, I ended up loving Hot Take more than I thought that I would, which is just really, it took me by surprise because I normally do not like these hot orange leaning reds on me. I just feel like they just don't compliment me. I don't know if it's a color theory thing or a color preference thing, but I just was never the biggest fan of them. And this one, I don't know what it is about the exact like color or tone or temperature, but I feel like it actually is a really nice shade on me. So I was happy about that because again, I normally do not like those colors. And so I thought I was gonna hate that one, but I think it's just so, so beautiful. So if you are like me in that regard, where you just don't like warm orange leaning reds, maybe this is worth trying because it really surprised me. So yeah, I would love to know what your thoughts are on these shades, if you like the creams more or the toppers more. Again, the toppers are beautiful. I just don't really wear them that often. So if anything, I would gravitate more towards a hollow kind of topper or a flaky topper, but these are still really, really pretty. So I am happy to have them in my collection. So yeah, you'll have to let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.